Hello all, welcome back to Learning Partner. If you are new, please do subscribe. This is another channel where you can directly connect with me. We have around 1000 plus members already who are working. We take live coding sessions and everything. To just get notified about those sessions, please do join this group. So in this video, we are going to see how dependent dropdown or cascading dropdown will work. I'm going to explain the database. We will create a scenario where we have state, then district and the city. So dependent. So if we select Maharashtra, then district from Maharashtra will come. If we select particular district, then particular cities will come. Again, like this same scenario you might have seen on many times. Department, sub-department. So many places are there where we are going to have dependent drop-down scenario. What's some means how do we write the API will be very simple, but Angular part, how do we do that? That is also important, right? So I will be covering the all the scenarios. So the scenarios we are going to take is state, district, and the city. So let's create the database first. So I'm using this user database, which in the previous video we have created this database. So let's create a first table that is for state. So state is my first table. It doesn't have any foreign key, right? So state ID integer, just wait, it is hanging. So state ID is going to be integer, not null. It is going to be a primary key, and we have to go with identity also. So we don't have to worry about uniqueness. Then state name, it will be varchar with, let's say, maximum 50 character. So this is our first table, which is independent. It doesn't have any foreign key. Let's save state master. Just a column table name I am giving. After that, we need to create another table, which will be district table. So dis district ID, primary key, not null, and identity. Fine. After that, inside this district, we need the foreign key, means state ID. Like whatever the district we are creating, it belongs to which state. So state ID. This is going to be our foreign key. Again, integer and district name. Varchar. Fine. So in this table, state ID is our foreign key. So let's save it. Master. We are going to have one more table, dependent table, that will be city. So now inside that city, we will have a city ID, primary key, and identity. And then we will have district ID, because we cannot have state ID again, because in district we already mentioning the state. So here we just need foreign key, that will be district ID. District ID, integer, and here city name. Where can? Fine. Let's save it also. So we created table. In every table we have the foreign key also. We have to enable the relation also. So in district table, let's click on right click, relationship, add on the table. So primary key table is our state ID. From that, state ID is the primary key. And in from district table, we have to match it with our state ID. So this is how we add the relationship. Okay, close and save. So accidental data won't be deleted. I will explain it. Why to add this relationship is important. Again over here, add column. Now primary key will be from the, wait, we didn't give the same name. Something is wrong. So this is district, this is also district. Sorry, this should be our state table now. Let me change the table name. So spelling mistake is there. Yes. Let me check it properly. This is our city now. So let's make it city master. City master. Fine. Now in this is the, wait, why it's not reloading? Let's open it again. So let's add one more relation because we changed the table name. No? So again, we need to add it. Let's delete it. Add district master, district ID, and from city master, district ID, we need to connect. Save. So we have created three tables. In three tables, we have added the relationship also. Fine. Now, tables are created. Then we have to move to the API part. So in API, we have this user DB context already created. Inside that, in last session, we created this user table, user model. Just like that, now we have to create model which will connect to the our three tables which we created. So I will just copy paste these things. Again, how do we create the project and everything? Just follow the inquiry video. So there only I have created this project setup for the first time. So if you are new and you want to see like how I have created the project and everything, so just watch that inquiry video. Fine. Now here only first like state will be there. Now we need the table name, that is state master, and it will go over here. How many columns we have in the state master? So state ID. Let's copy, paste it over here. Then state name, copy, paste it over here. Just like state, we have district and city. Let's get those also. Column name, sorry, table name. It will go over here. District, district ID, primary key. It will go over here. Then we have two integer IDs. Second one is our state ID. This is our foreign key over here, and the district name. Fine. Then last one is our city. So let's get the table name over here, and the class name will be city. City ID. Then district ID, which is our foreign key in city table, and city name. Fine. So we created respective model. Now these models we have to add into our DB context class as a DB set. So public DB set state like this, public DB set district, then public DB set city. Fine. So after creating the model, we have added them in our DB context class as a DB set. Fine. Now let's create the app controller. So right click on the controller, add. I'm going to create a controller with the name master. So this is kind of a master data, right? So that's why I'm going with the name master. In whatever the project you work, either you are doing a practice or if you are working on an industrial project, in every project you will have some master kind of data, a data which we use to bind it to the drop down, show it somewhere, right? In the form we use that data to display the uh, dynamic value somewhere coming from the API. Fine. So master controller is created. After that, now post API I won't be covering because we just have to check the get API part. Right, let me just close everything. Now from the database only I will be inserting the data. So right click edit. So first we have to create the state. So let's say state ID is our primary key. So an identifier. So we don't have to send it. So first state I'm going with Maharashtra. Then second, Punjab, Goa. What is it? Madhya Pradesh. So you can see 4 states I have created. IDs are also automatically created. Fine. We have created state. After that, we have to enter the district data. So enter. Now you remember we added the relationship. So see now. So let's see if I pass the district ID as 67, 65. And let's say Nagpur is my district. If I hover, see, we are getting the error for the foreign key because we added a relationship of this state ID with our state master ID. In state table, we don't have any record with this ID. So it will provide you the error like foreign key relationship is getting overridden, right? Because we are passing a state ID which is not there, right? But if you don't add that relationship, now it won't provide you this error, right? So that's the important of that providing the relationships. Here we cannot provide a state ID which is not there, so we have to provide one. Four. Again, state Pune. So in Maharashtra, I'm adding two state. Then second one was Punjab. So let's say Ludhiana. Then what is the third state? Goa. So in Goa, I don't remember the state, but I just have one Panji only. Then Madhya Pradesh. So state ID is for Madhya Pradesh. Indore is there. Then sorry, for Raipur. Then something Chindwara is there. Okay, so you see in Maharashtra I have added two districts. In Punjab I have added only once. In Goa also I have added once, and in MP I have added three districts. Now we have to add the state. So let's open the city master. Now district ID. So let's say I want to add the city in Nagpur district. So Nagpur district city ID is uh, district ID is 2. Fine. So over here 2 will be there. Then let's say Hingna or Ramtek to Hingna. Fine. So in Nagpur district, I have added two cities. Then let's say in Pune. So Pune district ID is 3. Fine. So let's say 3. Let's say I will just add the area name, whatever I know. Haradi, Pimpri, 3, Chinswad. Okay. So in Pune district, I have added 3 cities, and in Nagpur, I have added 2 cities. Let's add one more. Let's say if we go to Panji. So Panji has a district ID of 5. So 5, let's say city, some Panji. I don't know the city name, so that's why I'm adding just a blank data. Some 2 Panji, some 3 Panji. Fine. So I have added the data from the database itself. Now, here we will just write the get API of all the controller and the dependent dropdown API. So above the controller, we need to enable CORS. Then only we will be able to use our API into our Angular project. And the policy name is, so the CORS policy I have created in our program.cs. So this is our policy name. We have to add it over here. Now, so HTTP GET, then with the method. So first API will be GET. Let me zoom a little bit. So first API call will be get all states. Public action result, get all state. This is our independent table. We don't have any, this is our parent table. Fine. So where, oh, sorry, we have to inject our DB context class also. So let's go to user. Let's copy this. Let's paste it over DB context class we are adding. This is our master controller. Fine. Now over here, where list is equal to underscore context dot state dot to list. So we are getting the list of the record from our state table, and we are simply going to return OK with list. Fine. So this is our get all state API. This API is responsible to get all the state. Then copy. Now we have get all district API. Get instead of all district by state ID. Okay, so this is our second API, which will be get This is our second API, that is GetDistrictByStateId. So here we will need a parameter. So integer state ID, this will be a parameter. Now over here we have to get the data from district, but now with the where clause. So where m equal to m dot, we will compare it with state ID is equal to whatever the state ID we get in a parameter. Fine. So this API, if you are going to use this API, you need to pass the state ID. Whatever the state ID you pass, you will get the data. For that, you will get the list of district in that state ID. Just like that, we will need one more API. That will be get city by district ID. Fine. Let's change the method name also. Now here parameter will be district ID. Fine. Now here we will filter the data from our city table. So city is where district ID is equal to whatever the parameter ID we will get. So see, first API we have created to get all the state, then remaining two APIs are with the parameter. Fine. Let's save. Now we will API we will run. Now we have to integrate this in the Angular part. Now APIs we have created. Now remaining parts is the Angular part. How do we actually integrate the dependent dropdown? Now in my component, this is the previous project only I'm using. So where login and the registration part we have done. So in this user list component, we will be creating our component. So after this, let's create row dot call 3. So here I will get a first drop down select. Sorry, label we need. Label. First label will be select state. Here we will have a drop down option. Fine. Just like this, I will copy paste. We need class also. Class form hyphen select. Let me just copy paste. So see, first will be state, then we will have district, then we will have city. Let's save. Let's just check one more time UI. So you can see 3 dropdowns we have got. Now on the page load, we just need to show the state. And once we select the state, then our district should load. And once we select the district, then our city should load. This is nothing but dependent dropdown. Fine. So on the page load, what we need to do, let me remove this table. So on the page load, we just need to call GetAllState API. Fine. So in our component, I'm not creating service and everything because that is not our focus over here. So instead of writing API call over here, you will be creating a service and you can write your API call function over there also. So first function, get all state round bracket. Now in this function, we are going to call this .http.get our URL. So basic on what port number it is running, 7073 only. So same port number. So this will be common. Then after this, we have to get our controller name. That our controller name is master. Then our method name slash our method name to get all the state is get all states. Fine. Then we need to subscribe round bracket result colon any arrow function. Whatever the data we get, that we need to store it also, right? So let's say state list colon any of array is equal to array. You should create class or interface also, right? That is not our thing to discuss right now. That's what I'm going with any. So this dot state list is equal to res. Fine. And this function we need to call on the page load. So this dot state list. So on the page load, we are just calling the data of the first dropdown, parent dropdown. Then this data, we need to bind it into the HTML. So instead of this, here, let's say empty select state as a placeholder, we are going considering this option. Then at the rate for loop, On this array, inside this we need to repeat our option. So here value will be state ID we need to bind. So item dot state ID. So many guys get confused like why we need to use the value tag, because on change of the state you need to pass the ID to get the district from that state. So that's why value, in the value we are binding state ID, and to display we will display the state name. So item dot state name. Let's just save and check if we are able to show the states. Fine. So see, whatever the states we have inserted into the database, those states are coming over here. Now let me just inspect and show you that value also. See, this is our drop down. So here you can see the values is getting binded properly. Okay. So on the page load, we are able to bind the state. Now, once I change the state, I need to get the district. So now here we have to integrate our second API like this. So let's create this API. First function I will create, get all district by state ID. Okay. This function is going to, we are going to need the selected state. So we just created a drop down. First we need to create a variable and then we have to bind it over here. Otherwise, how we will get the selected state, right? So what I will do, I will create a variable selected state ID. Data type number is equal to, by default I am keeping as, or let's go with string because we need that placeholder to be selected. So that's why I'm going with this. Just like that, I will need two more variables, selected district ID and selected city ID. Fine. Now this variable we have forms models is already there. So this variable I have to bind it on this drop down by using ng model. Square bracket, round bracket, ng model equal to our variable. Now, once I change the state, the selected ID will be stored over here, right? Now in this function, this dot http dot get, let's get the URL, this URL up till here, it will be common. After that, slash our method name, that is get district by state ID, question mark ID equal to, what's the parameter name? Sorry, state ID. Whatever the parameter name you have, equal to, here you will pass this dot selected state ID, the drop down value, right? Then you need to write the subscribe logic. Fine. Now, whatever, just like the state list, we need one more variable to store the district list. BIS colon any of array is equal to empty. Fine. Whatever the data we get from this API, that we will store over here. And this data we need to bind it to the HTML. So over here. And the red for loop, and inside this we need to bind option. So in value will be, we have to bind item dot district ID now over here. So that's the unique thing, right? So item dot district ID, let's get the proper column name, district ID, our primary key, we need to bind it over here, and while displaying we need to display the district name. So item dot district name, we need to bind it over here. Fine. And this function we need to call once we change the drop down value. So means on change function, change, we have to call this function. So let's save and check. So by default on the page load, let me reload. So by default on the page load, we have one API call, that is GetAllState, and whatever the state we are getting, that we are binding it over here. If I select Punjab, you see one API call is there, GetDistrictByStateId, and state ID is equal to 2. And if we check over here, see Ludhiana is coming. If I select Maharashtra, see state ID is 1 is going, and you can see Nagpur and Pune. If I select Goa, Panji. If I select Madhya Pradesh, C. So whenever you change the drop down, your API call is getting triggered with the selected state ID, and that data is visible over here. See, understood? So this is our first dependent drop down. Now on change of district, again, we need to get the city. So same thing will repeat. So over here, change on change, sorry, not here. On district change, we need to call it now. So it will go over here on district change. This function we need to create. In this function, we will call another API to get the city by district ID. So it will be similar like this. So I'm just copy pasting. Just our method name will be different. So our method name is this, get city by district ID. And parameter name is district ID. Make sure when you copy paste, make sure copy paste is also proper. And over here, we have created another variable like district ID. So this district ID we will bind on the district dropdown. So round bracket, square bracket, ng model equal to this. Fine. And over here also we can bind that, but we are not going to use it. So let it be. Now, in this function, instead of selected district ID we need to pass. Just like district ID, we are going to need one more variable to store the city list. So city list. And whatever the data we get from the last function, that we will store it over here. And this variable data, we will use it over here to iterate. Let's add the for loop city list. Here we will bind city ID, and here we will display city name. Let's see and check now. Now our whole drop down, all the three drop down will work properly. See the API call, okay? On the page load, we have get all city. Once I change the state, I get the district. Once I change the district, you can see get city by district ID and district ID 3. We get Kharadi, Pimpri, Chinchwad. These are the city from Pune. If I change to Nagpur, you see Ramtek and Hingna we are getting. So this is how dependent drop-down works. I hope now you are able to imagine like how whenever you are integrating dependent drop-down, what's happening behind the scene. Or if you are new and this you are seeing this for the first time, this is how you write the dependent drop-down code. On each drop-down change, you need to call another API. So by default, you don't need to call this API on the page load. Only parent drop-down code API call data you will do, and remaining you will be integrating on change of it. Fine. One more use case is over here. So see, once I change the state, district is getting emptied, but this is not getting emptied. This also, because if I'm changing the state, district also doesn't matter and city also doesn't matter. Na? So when you change the state, what you need to do, this dot on change of it, or before it calling it also, this dot district list is equal to empty. You just need to empty both the array, and city list is also equal to empty. Sorry, not over here, on change of it. Na? So over here. This you don't need to do it because ultimately you are going to assign it. So just state city list empty you need to do. See, Maharashtra, Nagpur, and once I change the state, everything is getting empty. Understood? So this is how we need to bind the data in the dependent drop-down code. A simple API call, but just like how do we and when do we trigger those functions? That's the logic. Fine. I hope this concept, like for incoming days also similar kind of like file upload, mail trigger, small scenarios where .NET and the Angular part I will explain. So Angular guys also, for you also it is very helpful because when you start working on any project, these are the very use case scenario you have to work when you work on an actual project. And if you have in mind like how .NET people are going to work, as I'm keep mentioning, like in coming days, everyone has to be a full stack developer. So in the back of the mind, you need to have this clear, like how API must be written, what data, what logic they might be writing, right? So let me know like if any concepts like this you want. I will be trying to make the video of it. I have got down some of the list, like mostly use case scenarios what we use when we work on an industrial project. Right. So I will be coming with with so many videos also again. One more thing, like if you are new, please do like and subscribe. In the video description, you will be finding a link to join my WhatsApp link where you can directly connect with me. I'm taking so many live sessions, so you can get a notification of that to join. Fine. So that's it with this video.